I'm living in a retiree community, and there I am one of the building representatives to the residential council. So I'm kept quite busy getting information out and dealing with the management as well as the residents to assure that everybody understands where we stand on behavior, such as no visitors are allowed into our retirement community. We no longer eat in the dining room or in the cafeteria. We get food delivered to our apartments, and if we order some food, it gets delivered at the gate, and then the management sends somebody down to bring the food to the apartments and so on. So we're quite busy. We have to now wear the masks, and when we deal with anybody in management, and various things happen, so I keep very busy, and the computer gives me all kinds of information on the virus. And there just aren't enough hours in the day, believe it or not. Well, of course, everything sort of had some threat involved with it, and as this has. World War II, the threat was on and off. When it was on, it was always immediate. This virus is more of a worry type of thing, and you're not that scared, but you are worried. So there are some similarities, but very definitely a lot of differences too. Well, of course, I was a young fella at that time, and young fellas don't worry too much until something really happens. Now I'm 94 years old, and I can understand all the threats that are there, and this is not a very good way to die. So you sure as heck want to avoid this. It's a different feeling, and age makes a big, big difference in this regard. Somehow the entire outlook is different for the generation that I was in, and when we were drafted, it was an obvious requirement, and nobody fought this at all. They were all eager to get into the draft or even volunteered for service. So there were no demonstrations as happened later with Vietnam. And now things seem to be even worse, because I just read in the paper that they were trying to teach the kids over the computer, and people interrupted the lessons with trashy talk and hate and whatnot, and they had to cease the education. So we have a real problem on our hands educating the youth to understand how lucky they are to live in this country, and how it's necessary to sacrifice for the country a little bit on their own behavior. So when people tell you you have to stay 6 feet different away from the next person, and that in certain places you have to wear a mask, that this is no fun, this is no game, this is necessary, and this is something that has to be done. But I think we are having a difficult time getting that across to the young people, because you see them still gallivanting around the beaches and whatnot, in spite of all what has been said so far. So I take a rather serious concern in this regard. Well, the only thing they can do is get on the phone and get on the computer. And hopefully they have a computer, and get entertained that way, and get support over the phone from people, some friends that they know, and they have to try to retain connections with all these people. That's very important. Even though they won't see them, at least they will talk to them, and if they're lucky, they have the gadgetry so that they can see each other on the computer.